Moving back and talking about mirroring and link aggregation, um, is these are probably my favorite features of this release. And the reason I like them so much is because they're extremely easy to configure compared to what you may have seen on other switches. If you'd like to configure mirroring, you just go ahead and select one or two or more ports. And you'll notice that when I don't have any ports selected, both the mirror and the aggregate button are light blue in color, which is the equivalent of being grayed out, meaning I cannot click on them. But as I start selecting a port, you'll notice when I select one port, they're still grayed out. When I select the second port, both of these buttons become enabled. As I click through more ports, you'll see that they continue to be enabled all the way up until the point that I get to over 8 ports. Once I exceed the 8 port limit, you'll notice that the aggregate button is now grayed out, but the mirror button is still active. Essentially, what that is translating to is we allow up to 8 ports to be aggregated. You can do anywhere between 2 to 8 ports when you're doing link aggregation. And you can do up to 8 ports being mirrored into one port. So you can select 9 ports to be part of a mirroring session, of which 8 are sources and one of them happens to be the destination. And that's the reason why you see that behavior there. So I'm going to select the max number of ports that we allow in a given mirroring session, which is 9. And I'm going to click on the mirror button. What you'll see now is that there is an interface here that lets me decide a couple of things. One, it lets me pick what the destination of this mirroring session should be. So as you know, in port mirroring, what you're doing is you're taking traffic from one or more ports and you're directing it into a different port so that it can be used for network analysis or debugging certain problems. So by default, what we do is we pick the port number from the list of ports selected that has the lowest port number to be the destination port. But you're welcome to go ahead and change that, and you'll notice that it automatically reflects the source ports, automatically reflect the change that you made to the destination port by replacing the port that you decided to pick as the destination. I can make a change again, say port 9 as a destination, and you'll notice that it now replaced port 7 and put port 9 as a destination. The next thing I can do from here is I can change my mind. So I can say, hey, I thought I was going to aggregate 8 ports, but now I just want to do 7, so I can unselect a port out of this list. Further, I can choose to mirror only the traffic received on a port, or only the traffic transmitted on a port, or from a port, or do both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly select a few ports to be TX only here, and then a couple of ports to be both transmit and receive out of the list that I have over here. And I'm going to go ahead and click save over here, and you'll notice that right away the changes get pushed to the switch. I don't even have to hit save changes here. And what you see now is that the mirroring column provides me a status of what's going on here. What you'll notice is that all of the status indicators here have the same red color. And I'll show you shortly that when I configure a second mirroring session, it'll have a different color associated with all the ports that are part of that mirroring session. Further, what you'll notice is that one of the ports is marked as the destination. This is the port that we decided to select as the destination. And then the other ports indicate that they're being mirrored into that destination port, which happens to be port 9 in this case. It'll also tell you if a given port is only mirroring received traffic or only mirroring transmit traffic or doing both. So you can quickly get an understanding of what's going on here. So that's it. I mean, that's how easy it is to configure port mirroring in our switches. What I can do from here is I can now decide to configure a second mirroring session. So I'm going to select these 2 ports here and enable mirroring on these 2. And I'm going to leave the destination port to be port 10 and the port 11 to be mirroring traffic on both transmit and receive. And I'm going to hit save. You'll notice that we have a second mirroring session in progress here now, indicated by a different color. I'm going to select a third mirroring session and create a third mirroring session by doing a save here. And then last, I'm going to select port 13 and 15 to be part of a fourth mirroring session. So now you see I have 4 ports in session, 4 mirroring sessions in progress, sorry. And now I'm going to attempt to do a 5th one. and you'll notice that it doesn't let me do that. So we can support up to 4 mirroring sessions and up to 8 ports per mirror session to be sources mirroring into a 9th port. So now you can see that the interface is extremely easy to use. There is a clear indication of what ports are part of a mirroring session and a clear distinction between different mirroring sessions by colors of the session. Now, if I want to tear down these mirroring sessions, that's extremely easy to do as well. So what I would do is I would just select a given port of a mirroring session. Let's say I want to take off port 5 and 6 out of the first mirroring session. I would just select those, and you'll notice that the mirror button is now changed into an unmirror button. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to get prompted with a message that asks me to confirm whether I want to take port 6 and 5 out of this mirroring session. Once I do OK on that, you'll notice that now these ports are no longer being mirrored. Further, what I can do is I can also choose to select multiple ports from multiple mirroring sessions. They don't have to be all, I don't have to do them individually. So I can select, like, let's say 15, 14, and 11, which are all part of different mirroring sessions. And let's say port 8, that's part of the first mirroring session, and do an unmirror on all of these. And you'll notice that it unmirrors them all at the same time. What you also noticed is that unmirroring the other 3 sessions, unmirroring ports from the other 3 sessions caused the entire session to be toned down. And the reason that happened was because there was only 2 ports that were part of that mirroring session, and so it didn't make sense to have a session active with just 1 port. Now I'm left with just 1 mirroring session, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that one for now. As you can see, we put a lot of thought into how we design our user interface and make it extremely easy to use. And we're really looking forward to your feedback about what you think about these features. Thank you.